Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee, and today we are continuing the hard mode challenge on my new Island Ember. This will be our first official day on the island, so let's get right into it. Alright, first day of island living, and we are rudely woken up by someone absolutely losing their mind and screaming right outside of our tent. I jumped out of my bed and rushed outside to see what all the noise was. And it's just Tom Nook giving us a bill. That's great. I love waking up to being in debt. Tom Nook also decides to make 2 brand new forms of currency, and of course we don't have any of either. I also like how we were allowed to come on this giant cross-ocean trip without paying first. I don't know, seems like a scam to me. After learning about how the economy works here on Ember, it was time to start our day. Our main goals for day number 1 will be to grind as many Nook Miles as possible and to get Blathers to move to our island. We started out getting a few hundred miles for just moving to the island. Before heading off to the island, I decided to check our mail. We got a letter from Nintendo where they sent us a DIY for a new workbench. Now I really wanted to focus on grinding out some Nook Miles. An easy win is to take a picture with your new Nook phone, so I headed over to the plaza to take a picture in front of the resident services tent. Another easy Nook Mile task is to create a custom design, which is perfect because in hard mode you have to make all of your own custom designs that you use. And this does include clothes, so any shirts, sweaters, or dresses you have to make and eventually hang up in your Able store. Luckily, you can also wear designs other players have created and hung in their Ables, so I'm hoping we find some people with some great talent to steal their designs. But today I decided to go with a pretty basic striped top. I do like the color palette we chose though. I'm a little nervous for the day that we have to create our own pathing and other custom designs to decorate the island with, but luckily today it's just a shirt design. And here's a quick clip of me wearing the design. And we gained 500 Nook Miles for this, so that officially puts us over 1,000 miles collected. Alright, next task is to create a bulletin board post. On a normal island I would do this just to collect the Nook Miles, but in the hard mode challenge it is a rule. We have to make a dedicated post so that other players can verify that you're participating in the challenge when they come to visit your island. And creating this post earns us another 300 miles, so I'd say it's worth it. To earn some more easy miles, I'm editing my passport. I like to edit my title because other players can see this when you're flying into an island. I chose Festive Papa for my title. I don't know, this is the one I always pick and I just think it's kind of funny. After collecting another 300 miles, I decided it was time to stop by the resident services tent to see Tom Nook and Timmy. I also took Tom Nook's DIY workshop where he taught us how to make some tools, so I crafted a fishing rod and a net. Both tools will be necessary for our 2 goals of the day, to earn our Nook Miles and to have Blathers move into the island. I also stopped by the ABD to earn an extra 50 miles. And then I spent a good chunk of my afternoon fishing and catching bugs, but I won't bore you with all that footage. I also wanted to take a second to thank you for watching my video. I do plan to continue putting out videos for the hard mode challenge, but I'll also have other Animal Crossing content on my channel, like speed builds and other design-based videos. I love the decorating aspect of Animal Crossing and creating new islands with a variety of themes, so be on the lookout for that type of content as well. I then decided to stop being so antisocial and actually talk to my villagers. Agnes was the first villager I ran into, and she gave me a DIY for a leaf umbrella, and this actually ended up being very helpful today. After running around for like 10 minutes, I finally found Rolled. And the jock villager usually gives you a hat, but my pockets were full, so he had to put it in my mailbox. You'll see me wearing it in a few minutes. It's a Tan Explorer hat, which isn't my favorite hat, but it's okay. And of course we get a couple Nook Miles for talking to our villagers, which is awesome. And after being shamed for having full pockets, I decided to place some of my fish and bugs in front of the plaza. This will also give us a couple hundred Nook Miles for decorating outdoors. You'll also see me place my bugs and fish in different spots around my island a little later on. I also remembered you can get a similar Nook Mile achievement for decorating indoors, so I picked up all my bugs and fish that I had just placed down and brought them to my tent. This actually gets us double Nook Miles because I placed more than 15 items down. And then we also get an achievement for opening our phone several times. Then I went off to catch even more bugs, which works in our favor because we get 2 achievements, 1 for catching 10 bugs and 2 for trash tools. And these 2 achievements leave us with only 250 more miles to go before we hit our goal of 5,000. For some more Nook Miles, I tried to get stung by a wasp twice in order to pass out, but I swear I looked in every single tree and I could only find that one wasp nest. So now I just look sad with a puffy eye for no reason. While I was trying to fish for Nook Miles, I found a lot of trash. Honestly, this is probably the most trash I've ever found in one day in Animal Crossing. But this finally gets us to 5,000 miles, so I guess it worked out. After tirelessly working to earn 5,000 miles, it was time to visit our favorite money-hungry raccoon to pay off our debt. Tom Nook then offers to build us an actual house instead of us having to live in this weird little tent, so that puts us right back into being broke. Luckily, our new mortgage comes with the perk of being signed up for Nook Miles Plus. This is important because in hard mode, every day in Animal Crossing you have to complete all of your 2-time Nook Mile tasks. Today we'll have to catch 5 bugs, spend 5,000 bells, which will be hard since we're broke right now, so we'll also have to earn 5,000 bells first, catch a horse mackerel, plant 3 flowers, and catch 5 fish. In order to start knocking out some of these 2-time Nook Mile tasks that we have to complete, I started fishing, which actually got us the Nook Mile achievement for catching 10 fish while we were at it, so that's nice. And eventually we did get our 2-time goal of catching 5 fish. My pockets started to get pretty full from all the bugs and fish that we were catching, so I started to organize the items in piles around the island, essentially making a bug army. Typically I would just sell all my catchings, but in hard mode there is a rule regarding where you're allowed to sell certain items. In this case, we can only sell bugs to Flick and fish to CJ, so I'm just going to keep adding them to my piles until one of them visits the island. I then ran around my island collecting all the weeds. Since I can only sell DIY items, materials, and turnips to Timmy and Tommy, I'm going to use all the weeds to make several leaf umbrellas. I also didn't know that the umbrellas counted as a tool, so we also got Nook Miles for crafting a lot of them. After several rounds of collecting more weeds, making more umbrellas, and selling them to Timmy, we finally hit 5,000 bells. In order to buy 5,000 bells worth of items from Timmy, I decided to buy a DIY recipe for the slingshot, an actual slingshot, a few bunches of flowers, and a barbecue. I bought flowers because I know one of our 2-time Nook Mile goals is to plant 3 flowers. I also wanted to get a head start on growing and breeding flowers, since I'll have to grow all my flowers I want to decorate with. And after all of that hard work, we were finally able to spend 5,000 bells and get our 2-time Nook Mile goal completed. Our last 2 tasks are to plant our 3 flowers and to catch a horse mackerel. I went outside to plant my flowers, and I plant them in this X formation in order to encourage breeding. It gives more room for the flowers to actually grow. After planting all of our flowers, we hit our 2-time goal and got the flower power achievement. And I was finally able to catch a horse mackerel, which is our last 2-time task of the day. After several rounds of hunting and plenty of broken nets, I finally went to Tell Nook with our 5 different creatures. This let us move Blathers to the island and build his museum, which means we hit one of our goals for the day. Just like in my house, I placed the museum on the beach so it's nice and out of the way for when it's time to decorate the island. After I have my museum set up, I start to organize all of my items I have to donate to Blathers. In the hard mode challenge, you have to donate all of your fish and bugs before you're allowed to sell them. I then went around my island to collect a bunch of materials. I know tomorrow Timmy will ask me to donate a bunch of materials to help build a shop, so I wanted to get a head start and start collecting those now. Especially the iron nuggets because those always seem to be the hardest to collect. We also found our money rock, which was nice because we were in desperate need of some bells. I then went and headed back to the resident services tent to use the ABD. I was tired of having such small pockets, so I bought the pocket organization. I also wanted to buy the wetsuit, but didn't have enough miles. I did eventually earn enough and come back to buy it later on. And this will let us go diving tomorrow to find some sea creatures to donate and sell. I also went ahead and bought the bandage. I always use this on my character and I just think it's cute, so I bought it. And the last thing I did today was water all of my flowers. This encourages breeding and also gives us Nook Miles. And like I said before, we have to grow all of our own flowers since we can't visit Treasure Island, and so if we want to decorate with flowers, we have to grow them ourselves. And that's all I did on day 1 of hard mode. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to give the video a like, comment, and to subscribe to my channel. If you watched to the end, let me know which Animal Crossing villager is your favorite.